This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com. Adam was not the first human. Many people are now rejecting the Bible as valid because of the supposed conflict between it and science. In truth, there's no conflict between a correct translation of the Bible and proven science. One of these supposed conflicts is between the fact that science knows that human beings have lived on Earth far longer than the very few thousand years covered by the Bible, and the very common misbelief that the Bible says that Adam was the very first human being on Earth. These Bible-perverting puppet masters quote only a part of 1 Corinthians 15:47 to prove that Adam was the first human being. The part that these pulpiteers proclaim is the first man is of the earth, and from this they concocted that Adam was the very first human being. This is the same old tactic of only quoting part of a verse in order to prove their unbiblical denominational beliefs, which is the same method used by the devil when he tried to deceive Jesus. Here is the whole verse from the Bible. The first man, Adam, is of the earth, earthy. The second man, Jesus Christ, is the Lord from heaven. 1 Corinthians 15:47. Surely no one is stupid enough to argue that Jesus Christ was the second human being and that he and Adam were the only two men on earth until the 1st century A.D. How foolish! God never said anything so ridiculous. It is only through their perversion of the Bible's truth that these Christian clerics are able to promote such rubbish. The truth is that the Bible never says that Adam was the very first human being. Yes, all the clergy says that, but the Bible doesn't. Open it up and see for yourself what the scriptures say. It should also be noted that in this message, God's proper name is used, and if you want to know more about this, then go to the message, Three Holy Names. It says in Genesis 2:7, the Lord, Yahweh, God, Elohim, formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. The Hebrew word Adam is translated man and is also translated Adam in verse 19. The word Adam contains the Hebrew word Adam, and it means to be of a ruddy complexion, to show blood in the face, to blush, which is a word obviously not applicable to the dark races. This Bible truth is also confirmed from scientific evidence, which clearly states that the non-white races are thousands of years older than the blushing white race. This man's complexion was so unique that not only did it set him apart from all other races, but also he was named for it, Adam, the Adam, and his descendants are still being called Whitey today. Why did God form Adam into earth if there were already other peoples on earth? And the Lord Yahweh God Elohim took the man, Adam, and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Genesis 2:15. The Hebrew word abad is translated to dress in this verse and is also translated to till in Genesis 2:5, which literally means to serve, service. God not only required Adam to service the garden, but also he was to keep it. The Hebrew word shamar, translated in this verse to keep, is more correctly rendered in Exodus circumspect. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect. Exodus 23:13. Now the Garden of Eden was not a plantation of ordinary trees and shrubs, and Adam was not put in it to do ordinary manual labor. God did nothing so foolish as to form a special entity, the Adam, to wield shovel and pruning shears. We read about the garden in Genesis 2:9. And out of the ground made the Lord, Yahweh, God, Elohim, to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In the next few verses, God commands Adam about these trees. And the Lord Yahweh God Elohim commanded the man, Adam, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Genesis 2:16 through 17. Adam was to eat freely of all the trees in the garden except the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and these were no ordinary garden variety trees. Who's ever seen a tree of life or a tree of knowledge of good and evil? Throughout the entire Bible, trees symbolize men, races, nations. Psalms 1:3, Isaiah 55:11, 61:3, Jeremiah 11:16, 17:19, 17:7 through 8, Ezekiel 17:22 through 24, Daniel 4:10 through 12, 20 through 22, Matthew 3:10, 7:17 through 20, Luke 13:6, Romans 11:17, and Jude 1:12 are but a few examples. Bible symbolism is always explained in the scriptures, and the fact is that it frequently uses trees to symbolize peoples, races, and nations. If there is any doubt that the trees in God's Garden Eden were symbolic trees of races and nations, then read Ezekiel 31:3 through 9. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him. Obviously, these trees of Eden in the Garden of God were family trees of races and nations who admired and envied this early Assyrian empire. These family trees made up the garden that Adam was to dress, serve service, and to keep, be circumspect in it. The fact that Adam was not the first human is also revealed in the 4th chapter of Genesis. It records the birth of Cain and Abel, and no other child of Eve is ever mentioned until the birth of Seth, when Adam was 130 years old, which was long after the birth of Cain and Abel. Yet when Cain killed Abel, and in punishment was driven from the face of the earth, he complained to God, saying, "Anyone that findeth me shall slay me." Genesis 4:14, and then went and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden, Genesis 4:16, where he found many other people, took a wife, and built a city, according to Genesis 4:17. These people were in earth before Eth-Yadam, the Adam, was ever placed, formed into it. He was not the first living soul either, and for a detailed study on this fact, then go to the message, Adam was not the first living soul. No, Adam was not the first human being, but was he the first of anything? Yes, he was the first son of Yahweh God, who was formed into a flesh and blood body and put into the earth. The New Testament verifies this by saying, Adam, which was the Son of God, Luke 3:38. It is the definite article, the, used in this verse that denotes singularity. Adam was the Son of God and had a mission. If all of this is new to you, then go through the short messages contained in Life-Changing Bible Knowledge. When someone tells you that the Bible is in conflict with what science has proved, don't believe it. The things that denominational Christianism teaches are not only in conflict with scientific truth, but also are in conflict with biblical truth. What the Bible really says is accurate with a precision scientists have not yet achieved. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Isaiah 28:10. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy 2:15. Not only is it important to know that Adam was not the first human, but also to know who the God was which did all the creating in Genesis chapter 1. Check out the message, Biblical Ancient Aliens. This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com.